Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia and here on this channel we talk about writing, journaling, and productivity to help you curate a life that you love. So yes, it's been a week since you saw my last video, but I'm wearing the exact same thing and in the exact same setting, so it feels like deja vu. I get it, but see here, I had to film this the same day because I had time today and I won't have time later, so yes. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to start journaling in 2021. So if you're new to my channel, this channel does talk about journaling and I have talked about how to get into journaling in the past, so you can look at that video as well, which kind of gives you an idea on how to get into it, how to maintain it as a habit, a routine, and how to create a setting that you really enjoy when it comes to journaling. However, this video is going to be covering different topics related to journaling, so that way you can kind of get a broader idea of how to really start journaling in 2021. Chances are, if you clicked on this video, you have probably considered journaling before, and for some reason you could never stick with it. For some reason, you've tried it, you found no reward, and you dropped it. And so I'm assuming you are back and trying again, and I appreciate that, I applaud you, and I bet you'll get somewhere this time. So before we get into this video, I wanted to also offer up the idea that I do have journal prompts on my website that you can view if you need help finding prompts. I also have a recommended 5-minute journal that I really like that I can link down below. And while I don't want to make this whole video a bunch of links to different things, I did want to offer that as an idea if you guys need it. So without further ado, be sure to grab a cup of coffee, sit down because this is probably going to be a long one, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. So let's get going. Okay. So my first suggestion when it comes to starting journaling, especially in this new year as you try to navigate this crazy world, I suggest that you get a notebook that you will actually write in. And this isn't some cheesy like blog post like get a notebook and we recommend our notebooks because they have affiliate links. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna start linking a bunch of notebooks down below. I mean, if you want me to talk about notebooks, I'll make a video for it, I guess. But the idea is that there is no need to give you all these links and recommend notebooks. I just want to give you this advice. When choosing a notebook, you need one that you are comfortable writing with and that you genuinely enjoy. If you don't like it, if it's not comfortable to use, you are not going to use it. And I'm going to give you an idea or an example of what I'm talking about. When I first started picking up journaling again, I was going into college. I had no money, so I used old composition notebooks that I had when I was in like middle school. You know, those like black and white composition notebooks that nobody likes. That's what I used. And it was terrible. I wrote in it because I was forced to, but when I was on break, I found myself journaling in other ways because I didn't like the composition notebook. And here's why. I found that the binding was very stiff, so it was hard to open and it wouldn't lay flat. Similarly to this notebook right here, which I only use for notes, I do not use it for journaling. It just doesn't lay flat. And the binding on the bottom is kind of frustrating if you're on a flat surface because it sticks up and it just makes everything a little weird. So, and I also didn't like that when the pages are open, sometimes they just close, and that's also not very fun when you are trying to journal. It's no fun to hold down your notebook. So that is why I don't recommend getting a notebook with hard binding that is hard to open and is stiff to use. It is not worth your time. Similarly, notebooks with a spiral edge are also kind of annoying. I am right-handed, so when I write on the left side of the page, the spiral is like right on my arm, which is also really uncomfortable, and I assume it's the same for lefties if you're using the right side of the page. And while yes, you can kind of close it to kind of help, it doesn't really help because the binding is still there. Maybe you could turn the notebook upside down or something. I just don't use the spiral notebooks. I don't think they're very helpful. I mean, if it's all you have, then yes, go for it. Like I said, composition notebooks were all I had for college, so I used it. However, finding a notebook that is comfortable to write in will benefit you so much later. I also think it's important to choose a notebook that is appealing to look at because I had a notebook that was kind of ugly and because of that I didn't really want to take it anywhere. I didn't find it cool or useful. I think that appearance as well as comfort play a big part in the notebook that you use. So get a comfortable, appealing notebook, and then you can start journaling. You'll want to. It's an incentive, right? Alright, so my next tip for people who are interested in journaling in 2021 is to look up journaling prompts if necessary. A lot of people don't really know what to journal about, and that's where they start to fall flat. Sometimes people treat journaling like a diary, which is fine, especially if it works for you, but not every day is an exciting day, and it can be kind of overwhelming and tedious to continue using your journal as a diary where you just do a brain dump or reflect on your day. And while those are great things to write about, sometimes it's nice just to have a journal topic. So I always recommend people to start out with a 5-minute journal if you've never done journaling before, and the reason is because the prompts are super simple and they only take about 5 minutes to complete, and of course you could expand it if you wanted to, but you start to get an idea of what kind of prompts are out there for you to read and write about, and then it gives you inspiration for prompts down the road. So I definitely recommend looking out for journal prompts if you don't know where to go. I have a few journal prompts on my website, so you can click the link down below and get some free journal prompts that you can just use as a guide. Furthermore, I think that, and I've mentioned this in my journaling ASMR video, which I will also link down below. I'll just link my journaling series. But in my journal ASMR video, I mentioned that if you're going to be writing with me, because it was like a journal with me kind of thing, I said that you should probably write the prompts prior to doing the 20-minute journal with me. Or maybe it was 10 minutes. How long did I journal? The point is, every time I journal, well, not every time, but most of the times when I journal, especially if I'm using a prompt, I write the prompt at the top of the page and then I fill out the rest of it. And if I want to do multiple prompts, I fill them out with space in between, so that way I can go back and kind of start. That way there's like a flow to my journaling and there's no pausing to go to my phone, look up a prompt, and then go back, if that makes any sense. Alright, so my next tip to get into journaling is to make it a habit. So I made a video at the beginning of 2021 about habits, and it's titled like keeping your resolutions or something, but the idea is that you turn your goals into habits in order to make a routine and make it to where you actually do the thing you promised yourself that you would do. So I definitely think that making journaling a habit is a really great way to get into it, but turning journaling into that habit, or into a habit that you perform daily or weekly or however often, will benefit you so much in the long run. Alright, so kind of going along with the habit theme that we have here for journaling, it's really important to journal at the same time every day, especially when you're starting out. So for me, when I first started journaling, I started doing it when I picked it up again anyway. I started doing it in the mornings, right after breakfast. I would have breakfast where I would listen to my podcast and whatnot, and then I would go and I would journal. And I found that it was really helpful to journal in the mornings because I had free time that I could do it before I went to work, so it was really nice. The one goal I have for myself in 2021 is to start journaling at the end of every single day, kind of like a brain dump or something, and I do it sometimes but not all the time, but I think that journaling twice a day would be very beneficial for me, especially since I don't really journal for very long. My journaling can range from anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, 20 minutes being the most, but typically it doesn't extend beyond that, and I would like to increase the time that I journal, so I would like to do like a 15 to 15 or something, or like a 5 and a 25, I don't know. I just want to be able to do it more in order to reach that 30-minute journaling goal. But yeah, so journaling at the same time every day, you just need to pick a time where you know you'll be free and that you can do it every single day, and after a while you'll get into the routine, it will become a habit, and then you can kind of move it around whenever you need to, but hopefully it becomes one of those things that starts benefiting you and you'll end up just wanting to do it like when you want to do it, if that makes sense. Okay, so this last tip actually goes along with the last tip of my other video if you've seen it, and that is to get personal and discover yourself. In the other video, I talked specifically about getting comfortable in your space, like physically making the space comfortable so that way you would feel relaxed, but I think that it's important also to just kind of get personal with your journal, to really put out your thoughts every secret, every setback, every feeling, just let it out. And I also think it's important to be honest with yourself in order to discover yourself. My last video, which just so you know, I filmed it like 10 minutes ago, but you guys saw it a week ago. My last video on Level 10 Life talks about different areas of your life where you succeed or where you do not. And for that particular diagram exercise, you need to be very intentional and honest about your separate areas of your life in order to create an honest evaluation. If you start lying to yourself or hiding things from yourself, you won't really find much self-discovery. And the thing with journaling is there's no one to impress. Nobody's going to read your journal. Nobody's going to read your prompts unless you want them to, but aside from that, it's a personal experience, and it's better to be honest with yourself and to really put yourself on the page and reflect on who you are as a person. Figure out where you're lacking in life. Figure out what makes you sad, what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what makes you excited, what do you wake up for every morning. Like, it's really important to kind of go through your journal with this idea that it is an extension of yourself. A lot of people say to talk to your journal like a friend. I don't really think that's how you should do it, because I wouldn't tell my friends everything. I'm not entirely a private person, but there are some things that we all experience that we just can't share with others. And so I think of my journal as a separate space in my mind. It's part of my mind. It is a part of me, and by extension, I'm able to put out my thoughts in my journal, reflect on them later, and it's a really personal and intimate thing. So I definitely encourage you guys to do that. And for my creative writers, if you guys are watching, it's really important to be honest and to create scenes and scenarios and stories that maybe you feel a little uncomfortable with, or maybe things that scare you. I think it's a great way to build yourself as a writer and to move forward in life with like this open mindset for discovery. Alright, so those are my tips on how to start journaling in 2021. Again, if you want to watch my other video on how to get into journaling, I will link it down below, as well as like all my other journaling videos if you're interested. So without further ado, I just wanted to say thank you, and I will catch you next week.